Hello dreamers! Welcome or welcome back. If you're new, I'm Periwinkle Jellyfish and I'm a silly little person that draws silly little characters. That is hard to say fast. Today I am going to be experimenting with the way that I represent myself online. I'll put up a picture of my current avatar that I use right now. The video I made to design her is one of the most popular ones I have ever made, and it was very successful, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. But I started to feel like it doesn't exactly fit me. It fits my the name I made for myself, but not exactly myself, if that makes sense. So I have been secretly experimenting with my designs for the way I represent myself over and over and over and over again, and I cannot decide on one design, so I realize that I am just going to have to settle for different outfits all the time and different drawings. But I have been working out some lore, and I think I have a good idea on what I want to be going on. So today I'm going to be explaining what the heck is going on with my avatar's lore, and kind of explain a little bit of what I want to represent in her and her design. So let's get to it. One thing that I wanted to do was create a way to represent the version of me that looks way more like myself in real life, and I also wanted to have a avatar that kind of looks like something taken straight out of my dreamscapes and my art. So I have a version of me that I use to represent myself for like storytime videos, and I have a version of me to use in like my dreamscapes and my art. I just accidentally smacked my mic. I don't know if anyone heard that or not. So I decided to make two avatars of myself. The more realistic version of me, I'm probably going to have less of a struggle designing because I am way more boring than the ideas I have for designs in my mind. So chances are that one will be easy. I'm just trying to make this version of myself look very realistic and what I look like in real life. This is probably the closest you'll get to a face reveal in a while, so enjoy it! So let's get into a little bit of the lore that I have designed for myself, I guess. Let's get into it. Alright, so the lore for the, in air quotes, me that I have is that this version of myself has a power where I'm able to manipulate, distort, and bend space to my will and create whatever I want with it. So, again, I, already artsy and wanting to create art, started creating these drawings and, with my power, creating worlds that I called dreamscapes. Creating sentient characters through this power and jellyfish that live through these worlds of my design. One of these characters is one that I will mainly use to represent myself. Basically, she is a recreation of myself, but dreamscapified. As me as the real me is. This lore might be a bit confusing, but I thought that it was cool and I liked it, so I decided to go for it. So the me that you see with long hair is the dreamscape version, and the short hair, me with more muted and realistic looking colors, is going to be the one that looks more like my real life self and the original one with this power. The dreamscapified version of me is kind of just myself, but venturing in these worlds of my design as well. And that's the lore, I guess. I am definitely going to be flip-flopping over her design for a long, long time. So don't get too emotionally attached to anything. But let's go on to a pug break. Frida insisted on sitting on my lap while I was drawing, so she became an iPad stand, and I don't think she really was bothered by it. Once I was settled on this design I liked, I went in with a dark color for the background, and then I started to use this pastel color for the line art to kind of give this art a glow-in-the-dark feeling, because I thought that would look really cool. If my lore for my avatar seems a bit confusing, just please ask clarifying questions in the comments below, and I'll respond to them and try to clear up any confusion. Yeah. Anyway, Let's keep on going. Alright, so this pen I'm drawing is the one I use to make my art and also to turn that art into real worlds of dreamscapes. And yeah, so the pen is very important. I imagine that it can also turn into different shapes like a parasol or a paper fan. Very versatile, but its main use is creating these things, but it also helps with controlling this power more easily. So, I'm drawing myself, or my real self, in a outfit that I wear very often in real life, a plain t-shirt and sweater, and I'm putting on my glasses. But for my OC, I am not giving her any glasses to make her not have to deal with that, because glasses are a pain and annoying. Yeah. I gave my avatar, I'm just going to call her Jellyfish for now, and the real me Periwinkle, just to shorten things up and simplify. I'm not sure if that makes things more simplified. Oh well. I'm making Jellyfish have longer hair, just like an actual jellyfish, and because I just really enjoy drawing long hair. But long hair is really hard for me to maintain in real life, so I decided to, just keep short hair IRL and keep that in my IRL design as well. I gave my avatar design a more relaxed expression because I imagine that she doesn't have the same anxieties that I do, and she's kind of like able to, not have to deal with all that because fun. I gave her a choker with some pearls on it, and I made her sleeves look like jellyfish with those dangly little bits of fabric. Everything is starting to come together now. I gave her a Lalita dress because I love Lalitas. I added a bunch of hair clips into her hair, and now I'm going to start coloring everything. I started off with a color that looks more silvery thanks to color theory, but I decided to just go through everything and color everything in smoothly so I can go over it with the clipping layer later and adjust the color to however I want, and it would all be really quickly and just make my life a whole lot easier. So I start out with this very pink periwinkle-y color, but thanks to the background and line art color, it looks a bit more silvery than I intended. So I just had to finish that up real quick, and then I could get to drawing the other things. So I got all the flowy bits of the hair. You'll notice that the hair shape, the little front swoopies, and the eyes have the exact same shape because I wanted my character and her avatar to look very, very similar and to look like the same person, but just with different colors and accents, if that makes sense. Accents? That's not what I meant. Okay. Anyway, I'm having the underside of her hair be more brightly colored, so it almost looks like it's glowing. And now I started to add in the hair streakies. This hair color is starting to get to what I want it to look like, so I am just going in with colors that complement this dark periwinkle-y color well, and I'm just trying to get this done as quickly as possible and trying to make it not look bad. I start adding a few blues and yellows and pinks because I thought they would be really cute and I love those colors. So I wanted to add streaks of them in my hair so that her color palette wouldn't be strictly purple and periwinkly. I wanted there to be lots and lots of different colors. I want for this Dreamscape avatar, Jellyfish, to look like she matches with the Dreamscape aesthetic. I've been practicing my Dreamscapes a lot while not doing YouTube videos. So her aesthetic is going to be what I am going to try and aim to recreate in my come on words, come back to me, in my next Dreamscapes. You'll notice that in her hair I added this spacey aesthetic. That's because I wanted to look like she's made purely out of space. So I'm now coloring in her skin, and I decided to give that same spacey aesthetic and gradient into her arms as well. It kind of looks like a bruise, but I swear that was not intentional. I'm trying to make it look more like space. but you can start to get this kind of vibe from her then that she's, very whimsical and spacey and dreamscapey. So I think it's coming together pretty well so far. I'm going to give a disclaimer right now that any lore for this character or designs might not going to stay for very long. I might delete a few things. I might rewrite a few things and redesign. So please don't get too emotionally attached to anything. Everything is still up for scrapping. Maybe I won't even have a avatar with lore later on. I don't know. So don't get too emotionally attached to this. I'm just trying to have fun here and designing a little bit of a backstory for a way to represent myself. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I'm playing around with the little jellyfish sleeves, and now I'm coloring in her eyes. I'm trying to give her a nice light blue eye color because that's similar to my own in real life. Then I started to play around with the scalera. I wanted for everything to match with the color theory that I'm trying to give off, but thanks to the color I picked, which was not a good color, her skin started to look a bit more purple and sickly pale, and that's not what I wanted, so I had to work around with it a little bit since I was trying to give this a bit of a pink lighting. Once I was done with that, I moved on to drawing a more realistic version of myself. The first thing I did this time was I started to color in her skin the exact same color as my avatar. Just trying to make them look extremely similar there. As you can see, real me is holding on to that pen and making sure that it doesn't go anywhere. And I realized that I forgot to add eyeshadow to jellyfish, so I went to work on that. Usually I wear pink eyeshadow, but I realized that a blue one might really complement this character. I have a dirty blonde hair color, so I tried to recreate that as best I can while keeping in mind the pinkish lighting for this dreamscape. So I just quickly got to work on that, trying to recreate my hair color as best I can. And once I was done with that, I started to color in all the hair streakies. Doing the hair streakies was actually kind of difficult for this drawing because I didn't want to go too dark or too bright because it might, kind of destroy the effect I was going for. My hair color isn't exactly bright, but it isn't dark either. It's kind of confusing. So I had to be really careful with that, and I tried to get this done as fast as possible. Once I was done with that, I started to work on her sweater. So I gave her just a nice rose petally, I think pink. I made the color a little bit darker, gave her some fun blue sleeves because pink and blue are some of my favorite colors. And I gave her a black shirt because I tend to wear black and white shirts very often, and they usually have graphic designs on them. I colored in the scalera and then copy and pasted the exact same color of her eyes from the other OC, and I just quickly got everything colored in, and now we're going to go for rendering and shading. I found that I really like to play around with blending colors, so I've been playing around with that tool a lot recently. So now the coloring is starting to really come together and look a little bit more realistic. I was just having fun adding shading wherever I think it might go, and I was adding it just below the hair and at some points where there should be wrinkles in the clothing. And it was really, really fun to play around with. I really enjoy doing the shading because it's just really interesting to chisel away at it. I kept on going and just kept on adding shading on the original me until I was happy with it. And then I started to do some shading on the avatar as well. So I started doing the exact same thing, just repeating the process in a different pose, using similar colors for the shading. I went in on the skin, and then I started to go on the clothes as well. it was a little bit difficult to go around the spacey part of her hands because that space is literally her skin as well. It's just kind of a strange appearance for her. Now that we're done with drawing both characters, I added a outline around both of them and then used the Gaussian blur on it to make it look a little bit glowy. Now I am adding abstract lines and shapes in the background. Realized that I used way too thick lines, so I started to add different colors. Now I am having everything pulled together nicely. Now we are using the motion blur to kind of make everything blend together. And I wanted to have this swirly shape in the middle, but I realized the original way I did it was not working, so I had to try again, and there we go, much better. I did the Gaussian blur on that too, and now I'm going to start drawing jellyfish and adding them everywhere because I really like drawing jellyfish. I've been practicing them a lot lately, and I think they're starting to come together really well. I still have a long ways to go, but I think we're making good progress. So, I started to work on this jellyfish, and then I just kind of copy and pasted it everywhere else. A little bit lazy, I know, but I was starting to get tired, and at the end and the home stretch of my drawings, I tend to cut corners. A bad habit, I know, but yeah. Yes, that is my only comment. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I started to alter things a little bit. And now I was adding a little bit of space around the area to make it seem a bit more dreamscapey. And now I'm adding glitches because I imagine that periwinkle and a jellyfish should not be in that close in proximity to each other because it'll probably create some sort of rip in the space-time continuum or something. I don't know the exact details. As I said, I still have a lot of working out in the story to go for. This is the finished product. I hope you like it. I do not know if I'm going to keep this story or not, so don't get too emotionally attached, and the Dreamscape avatar is definitely going to go through some changes, but nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this video and watching my artistic process, and I'll see you again later. Bye!